Michigan's rock station, Q106.
Hey, I'm Q106's Terry Stevens. Capital City Comic-Con is coming back to the Lansing Center in downtown Lansing, June 30th through July 2nd. Once again, it has a star-studded lineup of geek culture celebrities. We're going to be talking to them in the weeks leading up to the big show. Our guest this time around, you've seen him in Battlestar Galactica and countless other features, Aaron Douglas. Q106, what's your name? Where are you from?
I'm looking for Terry.
Hey, this is Terry.
Hey, Terry, it's Aaron Douglas.
Aaron Douglas! Hey, dude, we are looking forward to hanging out with you and everybody else. A couple of weeks from now, Lansing, at the Lansing Center, Capital City Comic-Con. So, dude, Aaron, let's get into it, man. The first thing I see when I fire up your IMDb page is you're sporting a freaking Anthrax shirt. My dude, we got a fist bump through the phone here.
Outstanding, man. Yeah, they are my boys, Scotty and Frankie and Joey, and yeah, we've done a lot of crazy stuff together. And I remember the day very, very vividly when they first came on this Battlestar set and they were doing a little tour. And I lost my mind when I found out that Anthrax was on the lot, so I went storming around, busting through walls to find them.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, I got to know, dude, what is on the Aaron Douglas mixtape of Anthrax? What 3 songs have to be on there?
Persistence of Time, for sure. You can't pick 3. It's like, which one's your favorite child?
Right,
you know?
very true, very
man.
true.
Yeah, you're killing me here. Yeah, no, I think, Cotton and Mosh. Go on and on and on.
Yeah, that third one's a tough one. I would have to go with I Am the Law, but I'm a huge Judge Dredd nerd, too, so there is that.
Yeah. I Am the Law is outstanding. Indians is great. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Absolutely. That was the band that got me into metal. So I'm like, I'm going to get along with this dude this afternoon for sure.
Oh, really? Yeah. Because I grew up playing hockey, and in the hockey locker room, it was always, back in the 80s, it was like a lot of metal. So we had Sabbath and Metallica and Iron Maiden and Anthrax, of course. And then some guys tried to mix in like some Bon Jovi, and they got beat up pretty hard. But,
yeah, none of that. That's poser stuff right there. We only do real metal in the hockey locker room. Damn it!
Exactly.
And a bit of appreciation for those John Bush years. Those John Bush years of Anthrax had some gems in there too.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Like that. Yeah, it's a outstanding. I mean, they're both great singers, and it was. Yeah. Now my brain is flying all the way back to the locker room. You're freaking me out here.
We're right. Well, let's bring you back to the present by, I guess, going not quite as far back in the past, man. Now, you really, your role on Battlestar Galactica, playing the Chief, man. Before you got that role, or when you knew you were getting that role, did you watch the original series, like the old one from the 70s?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was like Star Wars on TV every week. It was outstanding. And it doesn't hold up. You watch it,
Sadly, no, it does not.
No, you watch it now, and it's a little bit of a holy. But and as a kid, the Silent Centurions were saying, "You'll come in." It was, it was really, really cool. And to get to be in the reboot is, it's a thrill. It bought me a house, so
Right. How many times in a given month does somebody quote the line from The Office, Bears beats Battlestar Galactica at you?
Nobody more than me. And it's not even close. Not even close.
My son and I have not watched Battlestar yet, but he's watched The Office with his mother at least 1,000 times. And anytime Battlestar comes up, he's got to quote that freaking line from Dwight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, there's, well, the funny thing is I met Oscar and Brian, the guys who play Oscar and Kevin, a couple of years ago, and we were talking about Battlestar. And he said the funny thing is nobody remembers that it's not Dwight who says the line. It's oh my God, Jim.
Oh, bloody hell, that's right. Oh, yeah. Man.
See, so everybody associates it with Dwight because he's making fun of Dwight, but, which bears best? And Jim is just, fracking around with Dwight, which is just outstanding.
Okay, I love the fact that you're also using Battlestar slang. Your response, I love it. And that's got to be baked into your DNA at this point.
It is, but you know what? When we were filming the show, I made a choice and said, I'm going to be the one that never says the word. I'm not going to say it. And then one day I was in my kitchen and I was pulling out some pans to make some soup or something, and I dropped it on my foot and I went, oh, frack! And I stopped and I snapped my head around thinking, I almost got whiplash looking to see if anybody had heard me say it, because I actually said it in life, and I know I was ruined from that day forward. So now it was, I said it as much as Katie in Starbucks. She threw that thing out all the time. She's like, you get a frack. She's Oprah. You get a frack, and you get a mother fracker, and you get a mother fracker.
I love it. That's perfect, man. Now you're going to get hit with all the BSG stuff when we do Capital City Comic Con coming up here June 30th through July 2nd. But you've also got this other really cool piece that you put together. You authored a comic, 10 Years to Death, and this is based on a true story. It is indeed. It's a true story from my childhood. I was 8 years old, and we lived in Vancouver, and my dad's originally from Ontario, way out near Toronto, and he had 3 brothers and 3 sisters. And one at a time, the brothers would move west and live with us for a while, and then they'd go out on their own. And we had this one uncle, Uncle John, who came out, and he had all assortment of jobs. And one of his jobs was he worked in this prison, and he would come home and he'd tell my dad stories at night. And one night he came home and he was all rattled, and it was the middle of the night. And I sat at the top of the stairs, and I listened to my uncle tell my dad this story, and he swore my dad to secrecy, and they didn't know that I had heard. So I'd held on to this thing for, 40 years. And I told it to my buddy Joe Pruitt, who is one of the top guys at Aftershock Comics, and he said, that is absolutely a book. And so he encouraged me to write it, and we made the book, and I think that's my 4th comic book now, and I got more coming with Mark Verheiden, and we're doing a 3-book series for Dark Horse. But yeah, 10 Years to Death is it's based on a childhood story. Most of it is how it happened, at least how I remember it. There's a few little sort of like artistic embellishments, but the main gist of the book is, this is what happened, and it's stuck with me till today. And I tell the people the story to still today, and people get goosebumps and chills and freaks out. And I'm just waiting for my uncle to find out that I know about it and I wrote it in a book, and he's going to kill me. Or at the very least, ask for maybe a writing credit or something.
Something like that, yeah, absolutely. Because the story never got out into the public either. It just never, nobody knows about this. They just buried it.
Wild, man. And it's very cool that Mark is working with you on this too. I talked to him earlier. So, I mean, you guys clearly made some kind of connection when he was working on Battlestar. What's your working relationship like with him? I love Mark in every facet and possible way. He is the kindest, gentlest, smartest human being. He's an unbelievable friend, and he's an unbelievable person to work with and write with. We made a connection. I think Battlestar, was the 2nd or 3rd thing that we had done together, and then we did Hemlock Grove. He tried to get me on Swamp Thing, but you guys have a president down there that shut down the government, and I wasn't able to get a visa for a time, and so that went away. So Mark and I are working. We're writing a book series for Dark Horse Comics, 3 books. It's a story that I pitched to him in a Vegas bar over 413 martinis. And it's where all the best stories come from.
Oh, totally. Written on a napkin. And then a bunch of years later, he just came to me and he said, remember that thing that you told me about in Vegas? I really love that idea. What have you done with it? And I said, nothing. And he said, I think we should do it. I said, okay, great. So we just started writing, and we developed the story, and he took it to a buddy of his who runs Dark Horse and said, we want to make this. And the guy said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. So that'll be out in the fall, and we're going to be in Capital City Comic Con to talk about that and Battlestar and whatever else we want to talk about.
Super cool, man. So when you were a kid, when you were playing hockey and listening to Anthrax, were you also into comics and the whole geek culture thing back then?
Not a ton. I grew up in a fundamentalist Christian home. So we had a black and white 2-channel TV till I was about 14 years old. And my parents finally said, you don't have to go to church anymore if you don't want to. And I went, great. So I left the private schools and I stopped going to church, and I got myself a TV that I put in my room, and I discovered FCTV and Johnny Carson and David Letterman and Mork and Mindy and Monty Python and Benny Hill, and I went down a rabbit hole of 14-year-old boys running around watching, silly stuff on TV. And so, yeah, I didn't grow up with what everybody else grew up with. Like, Mark grew up with all of this stuff. He's got like 300,000 comic books in a storage unit near his house, and he knows everything about all the comic books, and I just don't have that. I didn't really discover it until I was doing cons with Battlestar. When we started doing cons, and then comic book people would come up and go, I love your show. And I go, what do you do? I go, I make comic books. And so guys would just hand me comic books, and I'd take them to set, and I'd pass them around, and I just became entranced in this world, this creativity, the artistry, the storytelling. It's just amazing. And to now be a part of it, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants for sure.
Oh, that's cool that you adopted it later, though, man. You came into it with a different perspective. That's awesome.
30s, yeah. I'm well into my 30s before I realized. I mean, my uncle collected Archie comics, so I would read the Archie comics, but that's nothing compared to some of the amazing stuff that's. I mean, Archie comics are great, but it's not like what the rest of the world of comic books, graphic novels are just. It's outrageous, some of the stuff that's out there.
Right, and how they can, and now, I mean, they're being used basically as storyboards for movies and television shows. Is there a plan down the road to maybe take 10 Years to Death to a live-action feature?
Absolutely. The people at Aftershock that work in the film and TV department are shopping it around. I've sent it to Michael Reimer, who directed a whole bunch of stuff for Battlestar. He directed the pilot and then all the intro and outro episodes for each season, and he's an amazing director, and he loves the story, and he would bring a real cool, dark, gritty, visceral sort of The Killing meets Shawshank Redemption feel to it. And so it's just a matter of somebody going, let's make this into a movie. I think it would be, I want Tom Pennicott, who played Hilo in Battlestar, to be the creepy guard, and Alex Ponovic, who was also in Battlestar and in many, many other things, to be the raging Khan. And I'll make myself the warden, so I get to double dip. That's how it works.
That's the dream, baby. That's the dream. I love it. Aaron, I know you're a busy guy. You got a lot of stuff to get onto. I got one more for you. One of your other IMDb credits is you do some voice work in the game Watch Dogs. Are you a gamer at all? Do you pick up the controller?
I was a gamer until they became like trying to fly an F-16. 28 buttons and a doctoral thesis to understand how these bloody things work. Like my roots are Nintendo, a Wii. I can handle all. You give me 2 buttons, fire and jump, great. But these things nowadays, these guys they're outrageous. They're fun, but I just don't have the mental capacity or dexterity to do it. But working on Watch Dogs, playing Geordie Chin is one of my favorite things. I love doing motion capture work because there's no hair and makeup. There's no turning around. There's no resetting lights. It's just you shoot it till you get it, and then it's done, and you're done. And so they can be really quick and easy days. And those writers wrote me a lot of really fun stuff and let me play and change some dialogue. So, Geordie Chin is one of my favorite characters because I got to swear a lot, which is really cool, too. I don't often get to swear.
Right. You have to substitute swear, like with fracking, for instance. Yeah,
there's a lot of frack, and then there's, oh, my gosh. Oh, goodness. No. Oh, darling. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not...
We have to hallmark it up out here in Canada. Yeah, the Western Canada.
You got TV. It. I love it. Well, Aaron, we look forward to hanging out with you June 30th through July 2nd, Capital City Comic-Con, downtown Lansing. Have you been to Lansing before?
I have not been to Lansing. Mark and I are landing in Detroit, and they've got a car to pick us up and drive us over. We're very excited to sit in the car together for, what is it, an hour and a half?
About 90. Yeah, about 90 minutes.
About 90 minutes. Yeah, we'll sit around and we'll warm each other up and get all the stories we're going to tell. We have 1 million Battlestar stories, so we can laugh and laugh and laugh. Our panel will be very, very entertaining. I hope everybody comes out and sees us and says hi. And if you have a reason why Battlestar means something to you, your family, military people, I love it when they come up and say, we used to watch it at the base in Iraq, and it meant a lot to us to get back and watch the show. And I love connecting with people and what it means to them, especially now you've got moms and dads that are watching it with their children who are just old enough to watch it, which is a whole new generation of people coming up going, hey, you're the Chief. Yeah, I am. You're 14. You shouldn't be watching this show.
Right. My youngest is 17. I think he's got clearance now. We're good.
Yeah. He's ready to go. You might have to fast forward a couple parts, but other than that, you're good.
There you go. Aaron, we appreciate you, man, and we will see you in a few weeks at Capital City Comic-Con. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Bye-bye.
Later, buddy.
Michigan's rock station, Q106.